Today is an important day for Oakland, not simply because of the size of the investment being announced, but because of what it represents. For years, illegal dumping has been one of the most visible challenges facing our city. We see it on the way to work, on the way to school, and of course it impacts the quality of life in our neighborhoods. And all of us here almost every day, our residents want and deserve action. Today marks a turning point in that effort, not because there is a single solution to illegal dumping, there is not, but because Oakland has something incredibly powerful today. We have alignment around a comprehensive strategy and the resources to implement that strategy at scale. To learn more, we have quite a list of speakers. We'll hear from our Honorable Mayor Barbara Lee, the Crankstart Foundation's Chief Executive Officer, Missy Narula, and her Vice President of Operations and New Ventures, Eli Bildner. We'll then hear from Council President Kevin Jenkins and Alameda County District Supervisor for District 4, Nate Miley. And we'll hear from Barbara Lafitte Aluwale of Faith in Action. After that, the mayor will help close us out, and Sean Maher, our communications director, will handle questions and answers. Without further ado, our Honorable Mayor Barbara Lee.
Well, first of all, good afternoon. Let me just say thank you all for being here. And I want to thank the press for being here today. It's another good news day for us today. We're here because of something that's very powerful. First of all, our partnerships, working together across sectors to achieve a common goal, and that's a cleaner Oakland. Just 2 months ago in April, we announced our comprehensive strategy to combat illegal dumping, strengthened enforcement, advancing innovative technology, and bringing together city departments, community partners, and regional leaders to eradicate illegal dumping. I want to thank Councilmember Unger specifically for your leadership on the council for getting our ordinance passed, the first one in Alameda County. Thank you, Supervisor Myron. So thank you. And to all of our council members, I just want to say thank you. Councilmember Wong, thank you so much. President Jenkins, Councilmember Fife, and all the son of Oakland, Councilmember Houston is here. Thank you very much for your leadership and for being with us today, because this is truly a new day. We're taking a major step with early investments in pilot projects at a time when every public sector dollar must be stretched further for our core city services. I am so proud to announce a historic $9.275 million investment from Crankstart. Let me just, Now with these resources, we will pilot new approaches and learn which solutions are making the biggest difference so we can focus on what works. And let me just take a minute to thank Missy. I just have to thank you so much, and Eli and Gloria, because you all were hands-on with this. And very seldom are we able to talk with philanthropy and talk with the leadership, and they get it right away. And being hands-on really made a difference. So just thank you all so much. Give them a round of applause because they love Oakland. Where's Gloria? Is Gloria here?
She couldn't be here.
And Gloria will be here pretty soon, who lives in Oakland. And so this team has been unbelievable. And Esther, let me thank you, who's led my team, and Mia and Preston and everyone else from Liz, from Team Lee, because we did this with Crankstart and with Liam, Public Works, with Betsy, with Rebecca, with everybody right here in City Hall, which really is important for you all to know, because this is a City Hall-led effort with Crankstart. We didn't contract it out, because we're going to have to be the ones to show that this is going to work, and they're going to do the work. So this partnership is really a powerful example of what we can do. As I always say, my mother told me that can't was not in the dictionary, but sometimes we're challenged here to get to can, but we're going to show you that it can be done. And so let me take a moment to thank Barbara and Faith in Action for your leadership, because without the outside push, external, internal, you know, this is how democracy is supposed to work. You know, we understand the power of the voice of the people here in Oakland. And nothing happens that is going to be successful and it's going to work unless you have the people behind you and the buy-in from people. So I just want to thank you for that partnership also. You know, our residents deserve basics, clean streets. They deserve a city that fights for them with every tool available. And also, this is foundational to our economic development. Just know, to bring businesses to Oakland, to bring more conventions to Oakland, more tourism to Oakland, we have to have a clean city. And so just know this has many, many legs that intersect together. And I hope that the business community understands and partners with us, because this is going to lead to more economic activity also in our city. The partnership with Crankstart shows what's possible when we refuse to accept the status quo, and we refuse to accept it. 3 decades? And so it brings together public and private sectors to build the communities that our residents deserve. And let me just say to the issue around technology, and I want to thank Airbus. You'll hear from them in just a minute. But you'll see with this more enforcement, of course, most affected by illegal dumping in those neighborhoods. You'll see updated camera technology and stronger coordination to hold repeat offenders accountable. And I just want to say this aerial imaging technology that helps us identify dumping hotspots and direct resources where they are needed the most. And of course, we know the inequities in our communities and how equity is a must-have everywhere in Oakland to keep our cities clean. And Ariel, you'll hear from the principals with Airbits, but this technology, and this is something that I want everyone to remember, we got this passed through the Privacy Commission unanimously. So there is technology that understands the need for privacy, but also the need for enforcement and public safety. And so just thank you. Where is Airbits? Thank you. You're going to say a few words for that, because I really think this is setting an example for other departments in our city and for other cities also to be able to use technology that the Privacy Commission unanimously approved. So let me end by just saying you'll see more public education, so more residents know about free bulky pickup services and legal disposal options. And it's a historic moment for us here in Oakland, but more importantly for our residents. And again, I want to thank Supervisor Nate Miley for his 3 E's and for making sure that Oakland is the first city in Alameda County that is living up to the 3 E's. Thank you again.
Thank you, Mayor. And let's next hear from Crankstart Foundation's Chief Executive Officer, Missy Narula, and her Vice President, Eli Bildner.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, Oakland. And it is a good afternoon indeed. Thank you. My name is Missy Narula. I am the CEO of Crankstart, which is the foundation that is based in San Francisco, funded by Michael Moritz and Harriet Hyman. As a foundation, we are focused on the foundations of a healthy society and the preconditions that are required to live within and thrive within that healthy society. Schools, housing, great jobs, good access to parks and world-class museums, all the things that Oakland deserves to have. Since our founding, Crankstart has contributed nearly $1 billion to help improve the lives of Bay Area residents. And more than 80 million of that has stayed right here in Oakland and Alameda counties. I am so honored to be here today with so many esteemed leaders and public servants, of course, Mayor Lee, Interim City Administrator Lake, Director of Public Works Liam Garland, Council President Jenkins, Supervisor Marley, and of course, Barbara from Faith in Action. The name of our foundation, Crankstart, speaks to how we try to approach our work. We seek to find entrepreneurs and leaders who are tackling some of the biggest problems in the Bay Area and who just need that little spark, that little bit to get started. And as Crankstart, we are so proud to be able to give those resources and that support to leaders and communities like the City of Oakland. What makes us excited about this moment in Oakland, and frankly, what makes us so confident that this investment will succeed, is the unity, the commitment, the momentum across so many stakeholders: the City of Oakland, the community leaders, and of course, Oakland residents themselves and the exquisite pride they have in this community. I'm going to turn it over to my colleague Eli to explain why this work is so important to us.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much, Missy. Thank you, Mayor Lee. Thank you, esteemed leaders and community members. It's an honor to be here. I also, Mayor Lee very graciously called out our colleague Gloria Bruce, who's devastated she can't be here on a family trip, but who worked tirelessly on this project and just is so excited by this. We in the world of philanthropy love to talk about systems. We talk about workforce systems and healthcare systems. We talk about the education systems. And, systems are important, and that's undeniable. But we also believe at Crankstart that people don't live in systems, they live on blocks. And I'm proud to be here representing an organization that understands this, and in partnership with city leaders that understand this, that understand that it really, really, really matters whether those blocks are clean, and that the honest test of any philanthropic grant or city initiative is whether it makes an ordinary day better for an ordinary person. And we're all here today because when Oaklanders are asked about the biggest problems they want solved, they've been telling us loudly and clearly that they want to be able to walk to the corner store without stepping in trash. They want their kids to be able to play in a neighborhood playground without having to worry about a smell emanating from a pile of dumped materials. That they want to live amidst the same cleanliness and dignity that you'd find in any neighborhood that's been cared for the way it deserves. We feel truly privileged to partner with the mayor and Mayor Lee, who thinks the same way. And as Missy shared, we're excited and optimistic about the path forward because we've already seen the mayor, her team, and so many others here, both sitting and standing, spring into action by devising a comprehensive plan for tackling illegal dumping, by passing legislation to enable that plan, and by embracing really exciting new technology, including airbits, and new approaches that we need to turn this corner on this insidious problem. Last thing I'll say is a couple of months ago, I had the privilege to spend a morning riding along with workers from the Keep Oakland Clean and Beautiful team, Dave and Rafiq, along with their operations manager, John Hillman. And I watched as Dave and Rafiq worked tirelessly. They hardly took a break to remove furniture, bags of trash, leaking bottles of auto chemicals, and more from the streets of Oakland. What struck me, what was crystallized in that moment, is that the city does not lack for care or effort. What it has lacked for on this problem is simply the tools and resources to truly match a problem of the size. We're not naive at Crankstart, at least we like to think we're not. We know that this is a maddeningly hard problem. We know that success isn't guaranteed. But again, we're buoyed by the conviction in an incredible team of leaders and operators across the mayor's office and the city administrator's office and across the city. And we're motivated by our belief that the real way to change a system is to start with the Oaklander living on that block, walking to that corner store and playing in that playground, and to figure out how to make life better for them. So thank you for being here. Thank you, leaders and community members. Thank you all for your partnership, and I'm really excited to get to work.
Thank you, Missy and Eli. Now let's hear from our council president, Kevin Jenkins.
So thank you so much. Thank you to Crankstart, to the mayor, to Public Works for making this public-private partnership happen. I want to take a step back. The mayor, Councilmember Ramachandran, and I go to Washington, D.C. a few times a year. And we were meeting with a high-level congressional member, and we were trying to explain illegal dumping to them. And we couldn't. We had to pull up videos. And he was like, is this really a thing? Right? And yesterday I was in my car with a CEO from Detroit that wants to make some major investments in Oakland. And I just took them around Councilmember Houston's district and my district. I didn't know this was a thing, right? And it shouldn't be. My supervisor, Supervisor Miley, has an annual illegal dumping conference. I don't think we should have an annual illegal dumping conference, right? We need to, as part of the three E's, we need to eradicate, right? This is a crime against our community. And so we have a city council here. Sometimes we get along, sometimes we don't get along, right? But one thing that we all agree on is that this illegal dumping must stop, right? Absolutely every single one of us. We have a subject matter expert in Councilmember Houston, but I'm proud that we passed the illegal dumping expenditure plan unanimously, right? So this city council is absolutely committed to eradicating illegal dumping. Now, when it comes to the three E's, I'm okay with education, but we are really excited to get down to enforcement and eradication, right? Because people aren't accidentally illegal dumping, right? They know exactly, they're committing crimes in our community. And so this council, this mayor, Crankstart department, everybody wants Oaklanders to have a high quality of life here in the city of Oakland. And we're going to continue working towards that, and this is a step. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Council President. Now we'll hear from County Supervisor Nate Miley.
So good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here in City Hall. So yes, the three E's, eradication, enforcement, and education. And like the council member said, the president, we can't have eradication, we can't have education without enforcement, because as human beings don't always do the right thing. So I'm just very proud of the city, being a longtime resident of Oakland, being a voter in Oakland, being a taxpayer in Oakland. I'm extremely pleased with this funding coming from Crankstart to help the city be at the forefront and the cutting edge of our efforts to address this problem that plagues not just Oakland, but plagues a lot of our communities throughout the county and throughout the state. That's why we have a statewide conference, because the illegal dumpers, I hope you chase them all out of Oakland. But if you chase them out of Oakland, they're going to be somewhere else. So that's what we're trying to look at it comprehensively and have the state come in and provide resources and tools and best practices that'll help reduce this problem and eliminate it throughout the state, whether you're in an urban community, a suburban community, or a rural community. So I'm just really proud of the city. I know the mayor wants to have Oakland be the cleanest, safest city in the country, and I'm right there with her, and the greenest. I mean, I've been in the city for a long time. I've seen a lot of things happen. I've been on the city council. So if the mayor can make this the greenest, cleanest, safest city in this country, oh my goodness, you're saying something. So how many of you live in Oakland? Raise your hand. Do you like this? You sure? All right, let's make it happen. Thank you, Mayor Lee and council members.
Thank you, Supervisor Miley. Again, my name is Liam Garland. I'm Oakland's Public Works Director. This investment funds a comprehensive 3-year strategy to reduce illegal dumping in Oakland, and I want to share a few more of the details around that. There's a particular focus on neighborhoods that have borne a disproportionate share of the impacts of dumping for too long. This investment is focused on outcomes. Every dollar, public or philanthropic, will be measured against a simple question: are Oakland's streets getting cleaner? The strategy combines accountability with expanded legal disposal options, because we know that lasting progress is going to require both of those things. On the enforcement side, the city will now be able to double its illegal dumping camera network from about 35 cameras to nearly 85 cameras. We already know this approach can be effective. When illegal dumping is captured on a camera with our current technology, it is 4 times more likely that the responsible party will be identified and cited. The investment will also strengthen coordination with Oakland Police. It'll enable in-depth investigations so repeat and commercial dumpers face meaningful and even criminal consequences. At the same time, Oakland has begun a pilot to use AI-assisted aerial imaging technology to proactively identify illegal dumping hotspots in hard-hit neighborhoods. Instead of relying only on complaints via 311, we're going to be able to identify those problem spots more quickly, direct our resources and staff to those locations more equitably, and intervene before those small sites turn into big dumping sites. This Crankstart investment is enabling us to go from that pilot to scale citywide. The investment also allows us to test a simple but important question. Can increasing residential disposal capacity reduce illegal dumping in the surrounding neighborhoods? Through a pilot program, neighborhoods will receive larger disposal containers at no additional cost, helping us determine whether doing that leads to less material on our streets and sidewalks. The city will also expand public education and outreach to increase awareness and utilization of our services that already exist but remain underused. Most importantly, this includes our no-cost, bulky curbside pickups. What makes today's announcement especially significant is that it builds on work that is already underway. As mentioned by Council President Jenkins, just last month, the Oakland City Council adopted the Illegal Dumping Expenditure Action Plan, advancing the city's comprehensive strategy built around enforcement, education, and eradication. It demonstrated the city's commitment. It demonstrated the mayor and council and the community's commitment to solving the illegal dumping challenge. All of this helped position Oakland to attract a philanthropic partner like the Crankstart Foundation, who's willing to invest in our success. That's why I believe today is a turning point. For years, Oakland has been responding to illegal dumping. Today, we're investing in reducing it. We are moving from isolated efforts to coordinated strategy, and we're moving from asking whether we can make progress to demonstrating how we will make progress. That is the significance of today's investments, and I am incredibly grateful to our mayor and the Crankstart Foundation for helping make it possible. With that, I want to introduce Barbara Lafitte Alueli from Faith in Action.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Barbara Lafitte Oluwole. I am a community leader with Faith in Action East Bay and a member of the Illegal Dumping Local Organizing Committee, a partnership between Faith in Action East Bay and Block by Block Organizing Network. First, I want to thank Mayor Barbara Lee. Thank you. There you are. I love this woman. It takes a village, yeah. I want to thank her for inviting me to stand here today and represent the Illegal Dumping Local Organizing Committee. This moment is important not only for our city, but also for the families and neighborhoods that have lived with the impacts of illegal dumping for far too long. I also want to thank Mayor Lee for her active efforts to secure funding to increase both the human and equipment capacity needed to clean and maintain our streets. Thank you for going the extra mile to serve our most vulnerable families and communities. I would also like to thank Crankstart. Thank you so much. Director Garland, and everyone, Supervisor Miley, Council President Jenkins, and everyone who has worked to make this day possible. I'm here today on behalf of the residents, the faith leaders, and community organizations who have been raising their voices on this issue for years. Far too long, many Oakland families have felt like they were living with a problem that others could ignore. When illegal dumping shows up on your block week after week, it sends a message. It says that your neighborhood health, safety, and quality of life doesn't matter. Our communities know better. That's why we have organized. That's why neighborhood leaders have refused to accept illegal dumping as a normal part of life in Oakland. That's why we keep fighting at Faith in Action East Bay and Block by Block. Today represents an important step forward, not because a single investment will solve every challenge overnight, but because this partnership recognizes what residents have been saying all along, that the neighborhoods most affected by illegal dumping deserve focused attention, meaningful resources, and real results. What gives me hope is that this effort is not just about cleaning up what has already been dumped. It's about preventing dumping from happening in the first place. Yes, and it's about creating accountability for those who continue to harm our communities. At Faith in Action East Bay, we believe that community voices must remain at the center of this work because we're the ones affected by what's happening. We are grateful for Mayor Lee's leadership and for Crankstart's willingness to invest in Oakland, but we also know that residents will measure success in a very simple way. They will measure it by whether their streets are cleaner and by whether dumping decreases in the neighborhoods that have carried this burden for far too long. They will measure it by whether they can see and feel the difference in their daily lives. We are excited to partner with the city in this effort. They will also measure it by seeing collaboration between city, county, state, and community. The partnership needs to include all of this. We are committed to helping connect residents to resources, elevate community voices, and ensure that the communities most impacted by illegal dumping remain part of the conversation every step of the way. Because this is about more than trash. It's about dignity. It's about respect. It's about showing Oakland residents that their neighborhoods matter. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Barbara. Before our mayor closes us out, let's hear from our Deputy Chief of Police, Anthony Tedesco.
Thank you. I'm Deputy Chief Anthony Tedesco. I will be brief, but all of this conversation about consequences and accountability, I'd be remiss if I didn't speak. I'm very, very excited about this public-private partnership and the opportunities that it presents to us. But I want to speak to those who would continue to dump in the city of Oakland after hearing this message today. You should be nervous. We are going to end your anonymity. We're going to pull you out of the shadows, and we are going to take the problems that you are dumping on our doorstep back to your doorstep. Thank you.
And now, to close us out, is our mayor.
All right, now y'all know. Eradication, education, and enforcement, the 3 E's, okay? Let me ask, Cranks, Airbits, would you like to come up for 1 second and talk? I want you all to hear about this technology very quickly. I'm going off script, is that okay? For just a minute, because I want you to know, we all here in Oakland are concerned about privacy. And we were very, very careful when it came to using technology in this effort. But I want to thank the Privacy Commission because they asked the hard questions, and Airbits answered those hard questions. And so it passed unanimously. And so thank you for being here. And just kind of share a little bit about the technology, if you will. Great, I know this is extemporaneous, off script, but thank you.
Yes, thanks for having me here. And the technology with Airbits was really developed out of a personal experience I had in my neighborhood, which has a very bad illegal dumping problem. And I have 2 young kids, and I wanted to see the streets cleaned. And so it's designed with us in mind, with people who live in these neighborhoods in mind. And the idea is that I noticed that the city is very good at picking these things up when we know where they are, when we know how large they are, when we know what's in the piles. And if we can bridge that information gap, if we can take the burden off of residents and use technology to bridge that gap and bring us all together, we can solve this problem. And so on the privacy side of things, I found that it was really important to myself and to my neighbors that we take privacy as a very serious matter, as a first order. But also, there's an alignment between privacy and efficiency. So in order to report the piles on the street and the sidewalk and avoid reporting piles that are maybe in a backyard or maybe in the back of a pickup truck, it is an alignment that we focus on just the streets and sidewalks. And so the incentives are in place for us to not only protect privacy, but for efficiency's sake, to focus on the streets and the sidewalks and the garbage that's there. And that's really been our focus from day one. And we'll continue to have that be our focus. And we're really happy to be here and be working in the city of Oakland. And thank you all for hearing us and for having us. Thank you.
All right, thank you to all of our speakers. My name is Sean Maher. I work in the City Administrator's Office Communications team. We'll open it up to questions in just a moment. But before we do, you heard from Ms. Barbara Lafitte Oluwole from Faith in Action East Bay. She's not the only member of that group that's here today. I was wondering if folks in the crowd would mind raising their hand and letting us know that you're here. Big round of applause for Faith in Action East Bay. I know reporters in the room will have questions for our speaking panel about how this works and what we're looking to see. I would encourage you also to think about asking members of our community who took time out of their day to be here today, ask them how they feel about it and what they think. With that, we'll open up to a few questions. And we ask folks to raise their hand, let us know what outlet you're with, and we'll go one at a time, and we'll start up here.
Hi, Garrett Leahy, San Francisco Standard. I want to get a little nuts and bolts more about the technology and the scale. You talked about the number of cameras, but can you talk more about the aerial cameras? Are those like drones, and how do they work? Is it license plates, is it facial recognition, and when will these all be deployed by?
So, question from SF Standard, a little bit more detail about the technology plan, particularly are these like plate readers or facial recognition technologies, and what does the scale and timing for that look like?
Correct.
Fantastic.
Hello, so we have 2 different technologies. One is the aerial imagery, and that is focused on one of the E's, the eradication. And that is identifying those piles and then providing the information to us at Oakland Public Works so we can more quickly abate those piles. There's no facial recognition involved in that, and there are strong privacy protections to make sure that no identifying information comes out of that technology. And even more importantly, that technology is not going to be used for enforcement. Now let's shift to the other portion of the investment today, and that is the expansion of the illegal dumping cameras. And those are very much about enforcement. Those are positioned around known hotspots where we are looking to identify people who are involved in dumping and to hold them in account. Those illegal dumping cameras, they also went to the Privacy Commission and were approved, and privacy protections are included as well.
And the aerial imaging, those are drones, is that correct?
Some people would use the term drones, yes.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. We'll come to the next question, and we'll head to the back here.
Dan with Crown 4, what's the earliest we're going to see some of this money put in use, and what will the first things that we will see?
Question from Cron 4 about what is the first rollout of this impact going to look like? What should people expect to see and when?
Again, Liam Garland, Oakland Public Works Director. The focus on enforcement is important, and it'll be first. We want to get those additional cameras out and about as quickly as possible. The money will be available for that expansion on July 1st. We think we have contracts in place to enable that expansion, and supports so that we can use the footage from that to identify violators very quickly. I'd anticipate within 3 to 6 months that we would have a lot of progress in getting those additional 50 cameras in place.
Yes, sir. Right up front.
Maddie White, CBS News Bay Area. The city says renters in apartment complexes are eligible for 1 bulky trash pickup per year. But some residents are reporting confusion or roadblocks when it comes to scheduling directly because many complexes have a building-wide commercial trash account and they still end up needing landlord approval, which can take extra time and effort that they don't have. So how will this new effort address this barrier to doing the right thing?
Great question from KCBS about bulky curbside pickup service and access for residents, particularly in large buildings.
Thank you. Hi, Kristen Hathaway, Assistant Director for Oakland Public Works. So I want to be clear that every multifamily residential building, every resident of that building, if it's zoned for a residential building, is entitled to 1 free bulky curbside appointment per year and 1 appointment for free drop-off at the Davis Street Transfer Station. So they can schedule it themselves. They don't need to go through the property manager or building owner, and then they can schedule that appointment. Does that answer your question?
Directly?
Directly.
Even if they don't have their own personal trash account, it's like a commercial building-wide account, they can schedule it directly?
They can schedule it directly.
Oh, okay.
And that is a change. It didn't always used to be that way. That's just in the last. So great question. Thank you for the opportunity to clarify. We'll take one more question, and then we're going to break the program. We do have speakers who will be available for one-on-one interviews. If folks would like to speak with the mayor as we break her staff, Preston, I believe we will be coordinating that. Can Preston raise his hand so folks can see who to talk to? Okay, we've got. It'll be Viz who just raised his hand, and he'll either get Preston, or he'll be the person that does it. We'll take one more question. Back over here.
Hey, Darwin Von Graham with the Oakland side. When the AirBiz thing came to the city council a while back, said it was going to be a $152,000 city contract with the company, 72 flights, if I'm remembering right. So does this mean that contract expenditure is this money going to expand that contract amount by how much? How many more flights do we get? How much more of the city? I think I heard citywide expansion. Like, what does that mean?
So a question from Oakland side about the existing contract for that technology and how this expands that.
Hello. The existing authorization from council is for that $150,000 pilot. And depending on the results of that pilot and or whether there's potentially other aerial imagery resources out there, the intent of this investment is then to scale that technology solution across the city. First, we need to implement the pilot, check on the results of that before we move to the more citywide scaled up effort.
Thank you, sir. So thank you all for being here. We're going to close the program for now. Again, Preston is in the room. He's raising his hand now for reporters to follow up with. Thank you for being here. Thank you to all of our speakers. Thank you to our community for being here today. Have a wonderful, clean, safe Oakland day.